News 5 continues our Fraud Fighters segment. We talk about scams and frauds that are out there and how you can fight them. Joining us this morning is Jamie Harding with AARP Alabama. I talked to her over Zoom last week. We're talking about contact tracing in the pandemic and how a program designed to keep us safer can open the door for people looking to steal. Let's start with contact tracing. What is it?
Public health departments have used it in the past to track things like whooping cough and even tuberculosis back in the day. And it's a really simple process of once they've identified that someone has contracted a contagious disease, then they ask them for their contacts that they've had recently so that they can reach out to those folks and let them know they've been exposed and that they need to either self-quarantine or perhaps monitor their symptoms so that they can get medical treatment if they need it.
Sounds relatively harmless, but where can the scams kind of seep into this scenario?
Well, it's typical of scammers to take advantage in any crisis, and we've talked in the past about some of the coronavirus-related scams. This is just actually adding another layer on as we've seen the pandemic really spread across our state. So what happens with a real contact tracer? They'll identify themselves as being from the Alabama Department of Public Health, and that they are going to either text or probably email you ahead of actually calling you to talk to you about the situation. Now, a scammer, on the other hand, will text or maybe call you, and they will ask you for very personal information. For instance, your social security number, or they'll tell you that you need to pay for this service that is really paid for by the taxpayers, actually. So they'll try to get some kind of personal information out of you. That's how you know it's a scam and you should hang up.
One of the more pernicious things about this kind of maneuver seems to me to be you want to know, or at least you think from your perspective, that the health department is going to ask for some sort of identifying metric so they know they're talking to the right person. How do you know you're giving away the proper information to a contact tracer and not too much information to a scammer?
Well, the scammers are going to want something that they can get financial benefit from. They're going to want credit card numbers. They're going to want your social security number so that they could potentially steal your identity, which is a really difficult thing to resolve if that happens to you. And I'm sure a lot of folks who are watching right now probably either have had it happen to them or know someone who has experienced it. It can take years to get that resolved. So that's why you have to guard your personal information very, very carefully. And if you have any questions at all about contact tracing, or if you feel like maybe a scammer has contacted you, I'd recommend reaching out to your public health department in your county and talk to them, ask them any questions you might have on contact tracing. The other thing to be aware of is that because the virus is spreading so rapidly right now in Alabama, it's possible that you could be exposed and not get a call from a contact tracer because they're really scrambling to keep up with this growing pandemic. So just keep in mind, real contact tracers will not ask for your personal information, your bank account, your credit card, or any kind of payment, and they will not ask for your social security number as an identifier. They might confirm where you live or your name, but they're not going to ask you for anything that's personally identifying. They really don't want to know your personal information at the health department. They're just trying to keep track of the spread of the virus so that they can protect the public health.
Now,